Stand by. The program will begin soon.
Breaking: New York's highest court denies Trump's motion to stop his sentencing in Manhattan tomorrow with Stormy Daniels' campaign cover-up criminal case. Trump is getting sentenced tomorrow, this is yesterday, and will officially be a convicted felon forever. Forever? Forever, ever? Because, and I asked that question why. Why do I ask that question? He'll be a convicted felon forever. Except that if the conviction is overturned in the appeals process, you are no longer and never were a convicted felon. If your conviction is overturned in the appeals process, you are no longer and never were a felon. So, is there a labor shortage? Ultimately, the entire need for H-1B workers is predicated on a supposed domestic worker shortage. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the current native-born American labor force participation is around 63%. Meanwhile, the foreign-born labor force participation is a stunning 68%. Importantly, per the Wall Street Journal, census data show immigrants who arrived since the start of 2020 are more than twice as likely to lack a high school diploma as months, he beat not one but two Democratic opponents, swept all 7 swing states, and became the first Republican to win the popular vote in 20 years. He has realigned American politics, remaking the GOP and leaving the Democrats reckoning with what went awry. I'll tell you what went awry. They suck! Okay.
That since 1977, Congress has only passed the budget on time 4 times. The last time Congress passed a balanced budget was in 2001.
That was the
Did you know
Congress?
That over the last 6 years, Congress hasn't passed an appropriations bill on time once? In fact, we have had 17 continuing resolutions in the last 6 years.
6 years.
And since Biden has taken office, we have had over 11 omnibuses pushed through. Congress has only passed a balanced budget 4 times ever, meaning we didn't have a surplus or a deficit.
The mainstream has become fringe, and the fringe has become mainstream. There are platforms, there are people out there that are getting 14 million streams. And we're on cable news getting 1 to 2 million. And so there's
not on CNN.
the whole world out there. Kellyanne Conway, I hate to agree with her, but I do a lot of times. Donald Trump understood that.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
That was Friday Q&A, and let's. The first question today is from our friend Avocado Diablo, who says, have you ever woken up half naked except for a pair of lace panties, a Foot Locker's employee's ref jersey, and a pirate's eye patch stuck in the slide of a children's playground? AD? I'm becoming concerned. I'm becoming concerned. I would love to hear that story, though. Just out of curiosity, I don't know if I really want to hear that story, but no, I haven't. I'm very discouraged to see many influencers turning on some of our biggest fighters in Congress. Instead of going after the 38 who stand on principle and not raise the debt ceiling, but also didn't support the continuing resolution, why are they going after people like Republican Congressman Greg Murphy, North Carolina 3, who was for the original continuing resolution? Or why not just go after the Democrats who are responsible for this entire mess? Why eat our own strong conservatives, especially over something like the debt ceiling, when no one really wants it raised in the long run? Even if the 38 had voted yes on the American Relief Act, it still wouldn't have passed. So what is the end goal here? To get rid of strong conservatives because we don't 100% agree on them?
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
House report recommends FBI investigation into Liz Cheney of alleged witness tampering while on the J6 committee. So there's this is this seems to be blowing up in Liz Cheney's face as opposed to getting shot with birdshot by her dad. Here's another one. Taxpayers fund an misinformation index, but the real fake news is that it's useful. The Department of State wasted $330,000 to fund censorship of non-liberal and conservative media. Historically, the largest purveyor of disinformation is the U.S. government, without question. And now, once again, the government has decided to position itself as the ultimate judge of what is true and what is not. There's an animal whose shit is actually super delicious. Oh my God. It would have to be some sort of seafood. Avocado Dalby, what would you consider to be the most disconcerting about one could see in the toilet after you got done going to the bathroom? Only things that come from inside you count. Well, I think a 14-foot tapeworm would be kind of disconcerting. You're like, what the heck? Oh, that was inside of me. Okay. Lord Stanham asks, which member of Congress would you like to catch leprosy? You can name as many as you'd like. Let me just start with Jamie Raskin. And Adam Schiff. That's enough. This is lightning. Avocado Diaby says, why is it that Nancy Mace is the only woman in Congress that does not sound like one of the teachers from Peanuts to me when she speaks? Maybe it's because she's from the South, although her accent is not that pronounced. Sound Nation, is this the penultimate? Is this the last question? No, it's not. Lord Stanhope, will you have a Merry Christmas? Melancholy. We already explained that earlier. Select a boy who on The Simpsons has a plan that's good on paper but horrible in execution. Oh, obviously Homer. How many of you remember the name Crystal Magnum? Crystal Magnum. Does that name ring a bell? Anybody? Crystal Magnum. Now, even if you don't know that name, you know. It sounds like a stripper name, doesn't it? Crystal Magnum? That sounds like a stripper name or a porn star or something like that, right? Well, here's an update in the story of Crystal Magnum. Congress members haven't even received the text yet. The deadline is Friday. This is utter insanity. That is... I don't know if that could be any less accurate or more accurate. I don't know. Congress at last passed a real budget in 1997. Since then, Congress has typically relied on continuing resolutions or omnibus spending bills to fund the government. There should be 12 different funding bills, I guess, normally, and they're doing an omnibus bill. They just put it all on paper the last minute, and then just pass it because they want to go home for Christmas. Well, F that shit. So people are saying shut it down. They've typically relied on continuing resolutions of omnibus spending bills to fund the government rather than completing the full budget process as intended by the 1974 Congressional Budget.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been. You know?
What can be unburdened by what has been. 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 What we can see, what we believe can be unburdened by what
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Night.
All right. Let's get this thing started, people. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Night on the internet. And welcome back to the P-Dog Night channel, where deals and promises and things happen. I've been noticing that there's a hostage deal. And there seems to be a lot of question who should take credit for it. And it reminded me back in 1980 when there was a hostage deal. I believe just before the new president was about to be sworn in. And it's highly reminiscent of that time. But Joe Biden seems to think that the reason that they got the deal done was because of Joe Biden. And the new guy, the old new guy, has been talking about it too. So we'll skim over that because I didn't put it in the list of things we're going to talk about today. It's not in the trending topics. It amazes me too that that's not in the trending topics today. But, you know, people get distracted. People start talking about sports. People start talking about all kinds of other stuff, and that's what we get. Anyway, welcome to Morning Night Live. As you know, I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Night on the internet. It is the 16th of January, 2025. 4 more days until we are unburdened by what has been. And, oh boy, it can't come soon enough. I wanted to focus too today a lot on the Pam Bondi hearing. Basically, the one person that I wanted to see talk about was that guy, Adam Schiff, because that was probably for me the most entertaining questioning and answer part of the Senate hearing yesterday. There's a lot of stuff going on. If we get to it, we'll see a few more, but I definitely want to go through that one because Adam Schiff is such a slimy. Too early in the show to start swearing. You know what I mean? And that's the way it is. So we'll get to that. Got a lot of stuff up. Let's get it going. First in the chat today, of course, is Mr. Avocados Diabli because that is his pole position, I guess. Also, good morning, Somnambul Nation, Kevin S., Kara Soldier, Aaron Meredith, Lord Stanhope's in the house. Good morning, Johnny Boomercheck. Good morning to also Mike Savage, Blarg, Tyre, Alexander, The Scourge. Also, good morning. I got to scroll down a little bit. Where else? Anybody? A nod. 1, 2, 3. And you like the new intro? Yeah, I'm changing up the countdown. I'm going to change it quite often actually and put new videos in there and just try to put something interesting there for people to watch while they're waiting for me. If they happen to come across this channel while we're waiting for the stream, there'll be something a little more interesting to see than my vacation videos. Also, good morning, Attack Alpaca. How you doing? Good morning. Amazing Disgrace is in the house. Good morning. Also, Novar Sarah, the very clandestine Ravon Harris. How you doing? Also, good morning too. Anybody else? Was that it? That's kind of it. Did I miss anybody? If I missed you, just chat. I'll figure it out eventually. All right. See how we started? Let's get the thing started. And JB's in the house. Good morning, JB. Also, by the way, did I put this in here yet? Yes, I did. Okay. Thanks to all the people who are tweeting out the show or doing your own thing, giving me a let's go. Oh my. Now that Somebody knows something about me that not everyone knows. This is good morning but thank you, Somnable Nation, for tweeting out the show. And then we got this. Let's go. Wow, that's one of those. Okay. Someday I'll explain what I'm talking about here. Anyway, also thank you. Let's see who we got here. Swamp Fox Ghost, Amazing Disgrace. Reaccion Puerto Rico, and Tyre Alexander for retweeting my tweet of the show. Appreciate that. And let's see. Here's another. Let's go. Oh, I love that little dude. I don't. That's a full grown man, right? I think it is, and he's just he's stunted growth dude, but he's funny as hell if you ask me. And then we got Tyre with this. Let's go. Oh, that's what is that from? Is that from Romeo and Juliet? That's not what they called it, but it was that, the modern version of Romeo and Juliet. That's John Leguizamo. And here's another Let's Go. Now, if Jack Cochran are here, he would be very thrilled about that. Thank you, Amazing Disgrace. All the people who retweeting the show. Also, CG, thanks for retweeting the show. Appreciate y'all. All right, thank you. All right. By the way, I'm going to pull the link down. You can find it yourself if you can. I'm going to unpin that, and we'll put the Superstar sponsor link today. Gotta try to make a few bucks today. So I haven't updated my goal yet, though, have I? Well, maybe I should do that. Here, let's pin that, and then we'll. Do we need to change? Well, we'll change the goal tomorrow. It's just the goal has not been. Well, no, if I don't change the goal, you'll think it's been reached, and it hasn't, because there's no goal set there for today. So let's just reset the goal and the goal there. Let's try a new one. Let's see. What should this be? The Marty needs new tires. Yeah, my tires are terrible in this winter weather. And we'll just keep it simple and then leave it that there. What's this? What's the date today? Today's the 1st. So we'll go 01 17 2025. There, that'll work. There you go. New goal today. If we see if we can get $100 during the show. All right, let's here's another one. CG did another one too. There we go. Here's a Let's Go. CG and a non-123 are the same person, right? Good morning also, John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. His name is my name too. Wherever we go out, the people always shout, singing, John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. La 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 la. Good morning, John. How you doing, brother? All right. Shall we get into the show? Things happening in the world, things trending, things that people are talking about on Twitter. Now, 4 days. We got 4 days left until Donald John Trump gets inaugurated for the second time, Grover Cleveland style. And we have people talking about it on the internet. But I think this is a joke, but this is someone named Paula. I think she actually likes the incoming administration. Maybe. Oh, early vote action. What? Defender of free speech, New Jersey coordinator. Anyway, she says, just a girl waiting to lose all my rights in 4 days while baking a pie. Nice. Also, the memory of, I can't remember the name. It's Peanut. I don't remember the squirrels. Not squirrel. The squirrel is Peanut. The raccoon. I can't remember the raccoon's name, but in memory of those two lovely creatures, this is someone put up here. That's funny. Somebody here, Trump's first presidential portrait versus today's. It's giving retribution. It's giving don't try me ho look. It's giving America. It's giving America is fucking back look. Okay, perfect. Oh, is it Mr. Fred? Anyway, so lots of people talking about 4 days until Inauguration Day. By the way, Biden's legacy is in one image, the most inept and incompetent presidency in modern American history. 4 more days, good riddance. Well, no, I wouldn't say it's the most, what do they say, incompetent, inept presidency. I would just say it's, it was presidency by committee, weekend at Bernie's. You know how that goes. And then here in 4 days, we're turning the page. Bye-bye, Joe Biden. That video from creepy Gwen Walls sure didn't age well, didn't it? Oh, is this it? Let's see what you do here. What'd she say?
Bye-bye.
Well, yeah, bye-bye. You got to go right. You got your ass back right here in Minnesota where we just love you. Oh, yeah. Okay. She stole that from Saturday Night Live skit. Okay. Moving. So we know 4 days and then 4 more days too. I'll just skip that one because there's 2 different trending things. Also trending, well, not trending. I'm shocked that it's not trending, but you may already know. Oh, before I do that, let's here. Wait a minute. We got a celebrity birthday today. Where is it? Oh, I must have closed that window. Anyway, the singer Aaliyah, I can't remember how long. It's. Can you believe it's? How long ago did she die? Anyone remember? Here, let me look that up real quick. Ayla. How do they even spell her name? Here it is. They spell it like that. That's not it. Oh, well, good thing I didn't have that screen on the screen. Why do I keep getting pictures of this hoochie mama? Okay, I don't know if that's... Anyway, the singer Leah died, I think it's almost 25 years ago. It was in the 2000s, or 20 years ago, 24 years ago. And so a lot of people are paying tribute to her today. She would have been, well, she'd have been like 40-something. I don't know. Anyway, I accidentally closed the window. I'm not going to try and find it again. Anyway, I want to talk about the hostages, though, because that just happened yesterday. And a lot of people are discussing who's getting credit for this hostage deal. And as I said at the beginning, kind of like with the Iran hostages back in 1980, the Iran apparently must have had some fear of Ronald Reagan and had no fear of Jimmy Carter, because right before Reagan was inaugurated, they got a hostage deal and they got him back. And we're having a similar situation with the hostages in Israel. Remember, there were 6 American hostages among the ones that were taken by Hamas. And it's wild. So some people are saying that, well, here, Trump announced it on, I believe, Truth Social. And he was the first one to announce the deal, which is interesting. He announced it even before the White House did. President-elect Donald Trump was the first to announce a ceasefire deal was reached in Gaza between Israel and Hamas on Wednesday. Israeli officials soon confirmed an agreement was in place to secure the release of Israeli hostages held by Hamas since October 7th. The October 7th atrocities. We have a deal for the hostages in the Middle East. They will be released shortly. Thank you, Trump said on Truth Social, his preferred social media platform, at just after noon Eastern. Quote, this epic ceasefire agreement could only have happened as a result of our historic victory in November. It was signaled to the entire world that my administration would seek peace and negotiate deals to ensure the safety of all Americans and our allies. Trump elaborated in a follow-up message with caps, as in the original. With this deal in place, my national security team, through the efforts of Special Envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, will continue to work closely with Israel and our allies to make sure Gaza never again becomes a terrorist safe haven, he said. Witkoff traveled to Doha, Qatar, along with representatives from the outgoing Biden administration over the weekend to work with mediators from Israel and Hamas on a deal. Sources familiar with the meetings credited Trump's influence with breaking a long deadlock and setting the stage for the midnight breakthrough on Sunday that made a deal possible. Senior Israeli officials told the Times of Israel on Wednesday that Hamas folded on the issue of the Philadelphia corridor, making an agreement possible. However, the framework has not been completely finalized, and there are still a number of details that have not been finalized, the official said a few minutes after Trump wrote his triumphant social media post. The Philadelphia corridor is a narrow, barren strip of land on the Gaza side of the border with Egypt. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has long insisted Israel must retain control of this territory after any ceasefire agreement to prevent Hamas from using tunnels to smuggle more weapons into Gaza. Israeli sources said Hamas must almost scuttled the emerging ceasefire and hostage agreement at the 11th hour by demanding Israel withdraw from much of the Philadelphia corridor. They put courier by accident. Hamas evidently withdrew these demands soon after making them. And whatever TOI reported that senior Hamas officials Bassem Naim confirmed Hamas has accepted the deal. The Israeli Security Cabinet is reportedly set to meet at 11 a.m. on Thursday to approve the agreement. So they've already, in theory, done that. And let's see. With Foreign Minister Gideon Saar cutting short a visit to Europe and racing home from Hungary to attend the meeting. Israeli President Isaac Herzog is meeting with Red Cross President Mirana Splojarek to discuss transferring Israeli hostages and seeing to their medical health. Now, there's an update at 1:05 p.m. yesterday. This is yesterday. Senior Arab official from one of the mediating countries, presumably Qatar or Egypt, told the Times of Israel, that's what TOI is, Times of Israel, that a few minor issues with the agreement still need to be resolved, including Israeli process for vetting the approximately 1,000 Palestinian prisoners it has agreed to release. Some of those prisoners are currently serving life sentences for severe offenses, according to the Arab official. Hamas has agreed to let Israel release those prisoners to an agreed-upon third country. Jerusalem Post reported the Israeli Defense Forces and Israeli Defense Ministry have been ordered to prepare an operation called Sparrow's Wings to retrieve hostages freed by Hamas and then begin withdrawing from Gaza. At 1:20 p.m. Eastern, the office of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu responded to news of an agreement by saying the ceasefire deal still has not been reached because of some final details still being resolved. At 1:35, Egyptian state media reported that preparations are being made to open Palestinian Rafah crossing to allow entry of international aid into Gaza. Egypt will then attempt to bring in the largest possible amount of aid to the Gaza Strip. Gaza's Civil Defense Agency has asked residents to avoid celebratory gunfire as news of the agreement spreads. Yes, they tend to shoot bullets into the air, and what comes up must come down. Spinning wheel got to go round. At 2:05, Qatar Prime Minister Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani announced a hostage release and ceasefire deal has been reached between Israel and Hamas. At 2:25 p.m., Israeli opposition leader Yair Lapid and National Unity Chairman Ben Gantz welcomed the hostage deal. Lapid said the entire country is holding its breath, waiting for the return of the Israelis kidnapped by Hamas. Both of them promised political support to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for implementing the agreement. At 3 p.m., President Biden said the ceasefire deal will be carried out in 3 phases during the first 6 weeks. Israel will withdraw from all the populated areas of Gaza, allowing all residents to return home. Hamas will release a number of its hostages, beginning with women, the elderly, and the wounded. According to Biden, the Americans held by Hamas will be among the first to be released. Also during the first phase, Israel will release hundreds of Palestinian prisoners to allow a surge in humanitarian assistance, to reach Gaza. The second phase, which will begin if the first weeks go according to plan, will ostensibly see the release of all remaining Hamas hostages and the withdrawal of remaining Israeli troops from Gaza. This will cause the temporary ceasefire from phase 1 to become permanent. The third phase, sometimes later in 2025, will include Hamas releasing the remains of hostages who died in captivity, while a reconstructive plan for Gaza will get underway. And then at 5:15 p.m., senior Hamas negotiator Khalil al-Hayya praised the ceasefire agreement as a major victory for Hamas. A major... Of course, they see it as a major victory for Hamas. He further celebrated the October 7th attacks as a military and security achievement that will remain a source of pride for our people, our nation, and future generations. So, yeah, I just am at a point where they're going to claim victory, and then apparently they've promised more attacks. So that's just amazing. Anyway, good morning, Ms. Wild. How you doing? Tribute Liberty. What's up, my brother? My favorite Canadian Jaeger pony. Honorable mention on the favorite Canadian list, Special Canned Acid. And GDSOB, good morning. And I think I'm catching up. So anyway, so there you go. Big news there. Now, it's interesting. Joe Biden. Oh, that's not Joe Biden. Where's the hostage? Let's do this one. Joe Biden isn't happy about the fact that people are even hinting that Trump might get some credit for this. But as I go down this list, here's a few of them that people are talking about. The Persistence, a.k.a. Scott Pressler, a.k.a. Voter Registrar Extraordinaire, says to Alyssa Farah from The View, you said on The View that if President Trump, does good, if he gets the Israeli hostages out, I promise I will wear a MAGA hat for one day on this show and say thank you for doing it. We look forward to the safe return of the hostages. And so here's what she said back then.
Single thing, a 5-alarm fire.
Yeah.
If he does good, if he gets the Israeli hostages out, I promise I will wear a MAGA hat for one day on the show and say thank you for doing it. Yeah. She'll knock it right off my head. But like you have to be able to cheer for wins when they happen and then call out relentlessly the wrongdoing.
Well, let me
Okay, so we'll see if that happens. Probably not. Scott Jennings was on This Is CNN, and they were talking about that on CNN. So here's how they spoke about it. Here's a brief clip of them talking about it.
I do think that all sides agree that Trump's hand in this has made a difference, one way or another.
Yeah, they don't want to deal with Trump. He's been perfectly clear. He has not vacillated about his message that if they don't send our people back, there's going to be hell to pay. And thank God he has been on that message, and he has not wavered
they
from
look
it. He's
so
not
upset.
stepped back from it.
They
And
don't
I
want to
really
hear
care,
it.
Candidly.
She does not want to hear it. I don't know who she is, but she did not want to hear Scott say this. She don't want to hear it.
Who the president is when all this happens, I just want him back. I mean, I've worn this yellow ribbon out here every night for over a year because I think there's so many families who are just devastated. They're hurting. They don't know what the situation is. And we need this to come to an end. There are Americans involved here. Look, I think we're going to end up paying a very heavy price in this deal. I'm sure some terrorists are probably going to wind up being let out of jails. I don't particularly like that. But to settle this, to get peace, and to get our people back, I think it took Trump winning the election and being clear-eyed about it to make it happen.
Scott,
if you were Iran or
they got more here.
Any terrorist with any level of responsibility, what you have witnessed is that the Biden administration has tried to, at various points, put shackles on Israel. You can say they've been strong on it, but they have at times tried to put rhetorical and military shackles on Israel. There is no expectation that Trump would put shackles on anybody, and there is some expectation that he might just get involved himself if they don't send our people back. So I do think this was the essential element to getting this over the finish line, and I hope it happens right now. A great nation, a superpower, does not permit its people.
Now, I wish you would have left some of the other people talking about
for as long as we have. I don't think Donald Trump wants to be taking over a country that was willing to permit that kind of behavior by these thugs and terrorists. And so I think that's why he was clear-eyed in his statements, and I think that's why they're responding.
Okay, yeah, it's obvious. I mean, again, we went through this in 1980 with the Iran hostage crisis. Everyone talking about Ronnie Reagan and all that shit. They wanted no part of that. Good morning, Reaccion Puerto Rico. I didn't see you come in here. Have you just been quiet? You must have. Anyway, let's see. Now, of course, in Gaza, the Palestinians in Gaza are currently celebrating this hostage deal as a defeat of Israel by Hamas. I haven't, I'm not so sure about that. But so this person's saying this is a terrible deal. Well, I think part of it, if they're agreed to release thousands of people who might be serving life in prison in Israel to Gaza, that may be a concern. I would think so. But somehow they got the deal done. I don't think Hamas wants to do any more of this nonsense while Trump is president, because he just doesn't. He kind of gave me the idea that he don't give a fuck. And hello, we might, you keep it up, and we might actually get involved, because we haven't been yet. Here's okay, this is just them least they're not firing the weapons in the air like they've asked them not to, but they're treating it as a victory. Breaking hostage and ceasefire deal in Gaza had nothing to do with Biden, Arab officials say. Oh, the Arab officials are saying the deal today came after Trump's incoming Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, met with Netanyahu. Trump envoy swayed Netanyahu more in one meeting than Biden did all year, according to the Times of Israel. So, you know what? I would love to see that stick. And, but, you know, we've gone through this so many times, wash, rinse, repeat. But at least, look, we're getting our American hostages back. That's a good thing. I'm not going to argue about it. All right. Let's, on a lighter note, some other things trending. Someone named Danielle Collins is trending. Apparently, Danielle Collins is a American tennis player who was playing in the Australian Open. Over in Australia. And she won her match, and apparently the Australians were mad because apparently some newcomer up-and-coming tennis player that got to the semifinals is an Australian. And apparently she... Well, let's just put it this way. They're not happy that their new darling tennis player got beat, and then they started booing her. And I think her reaction, well, let's just say it didn't please a lot of people. So here's the final point.
Weapon has completed the deal on match point. A hammered backhand, and she's giving it to the crowd too at Key Arena.
So she gets booed, and that, you know,
taken too well in these parts, but the brave run of Destiny Ava has come to an end at the hands of the 2022.
And they continue to boo her, so she blows kisses at him, and then she does one more. She does a Randy Moss. Oh, there you go. So apparently all during the match, you know, the Australians are cheering for the Australian. I mean, that's expected, right? And it got a little tense and whatever, and she's like, yeah, you're going to boo me? You can kiss my ass. So that's why Danielle, what the hell's her name? I've never even heard of this person because I haven't watched tennis in years. Danielle Collins, the American, may have kind of, you know, gone over the line slightly. Now, here's part of the interview. Okay, let me show you part of the interview too, and then we're gonna move on because this is not a sports show, but her interview is interesting too. Here we go.
Win.
Hold on, I'm gonna pause. Thank you, Avocados Diablo, first sponsor today. You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. AD says, dropping a small bullet in the tip jar, 223, says the interesting thing about the deal is that they're trading thousands of prisoners for 33 hostages. Aren't Hamas admitting that to them, one Jew is worth 100 Palestinians? Yeah. It's a weird, there's a couple ways you could look at it. It also kind of, in some ways, in some minor ways, it shows weakness on the negotiating team's part too, saying, no, fuck you, give us our hostages back, we shouldn't give you shit. But they had to negotiate, and you know, will they put those people who are supposed to be in prison for life in jail forever, whatever. So anyway, here's Danielle's short interview, because she's still well, just say the Australian crowd in the Australian Open is giving her the business still. So here we go.
Danielle, congratulations. That was a roller coaster of a ride.
Yeah, I mean, Destiny.
They're still booing her. It's like at some point you go, okay, let's just give her credit for winning, right? Hello, Andrew Thorsten.
You know, I was thinking during the match, I was like, if I'm out here, I might as well just take that big fat paycheck. And Coco and I love a good 5-star vacation. So part of that check is going to go towards that. So thank you guys. Thanks for coming out here and supporting us tonight.
Anyway, so
Madison Keys in the next.
I gotta say, there's a little frustration there in her voice. Like, y'all gonna boo me. I'm gonna give it right back to you. So anyway, enough about Danielle. And there's more to that video. If you want to see it, there's a whole section in the links today. Blue Origin is trending. Apparently, they finally. Is Gunfox here? Because Gunfox would be talking about this. Blue Origin finally got this rocket off the ground that they've been talking about called New Glenn. Here it is. And it's cool. This is Jeff Bezos' rocket, not the Elon Musk, because some people are laughing about, here's the difference between SpaceX and Blue Origin. This is funny. Oh, it doesn't fit on the screen, does it? Yes, this is Blue Origin versus SpaceX. That's about right. So anyway, they launched the finally new here it is, breaking. After 24 years after the company's founding, Jeff Bezos' rocket company, Blue Origin, has just successfully reached orbit with its own rocket for the first time ever. The company's 320-foot tall New Glenn rocket successfully lifted off from Florida tonight for the first time, which is, stage 1 nominal? They lost the booster. Okay, but anyway, so they finally got this New Glenn rocket off the ground. In fact, this is funny. Everyone waiting for New Glenn to launch. Yeah, that's appropriate. Anyway, New Glenn safely reached its intended orbit during today's NG-1 mission, accomplishing our primary objective. The second stage is in the final orbit following 2 successful burns of the BE-3U engines. The Blue Ring Pathfinder is receiving data and is performing well. We lost the booster during descent. We knew landing the first stage on the first try was ambitious. We'll learn, refine, and apply that knowledge in our next launch in the spring. We're thrilled with the day's outcome. So, they're excited about getting the rocket into orbit. Moving on, Rocky is trending, and we're not talking about Sylvester Stallone or Rocky Balboa, anything like that. Apparently, the K-9 Rocky was part of the U.S. Marshal Special Operation Group, was shot multiple times in the neck during a takedown of a man who killed Brazoria County Deputy Jesus Vargas. Rocky was flown to the vet on a DPS chopper and is expected to survive. His handler says he saved his life. So, this is the moment when Rocky was being loaded onto the DPS chopper. Rocky is a U.S. Marshal K-9 who was shot after he sniffed out a suspect in the dumpster. He's expected to survive and is being called a hero. Story tonight on KHOU Houston. So, thoughts and prayers for Rocky, the K-9 dog that saved someone's life. Very good. Moving on, Free Wendy is trending. Now, remember it was a couple weeks ago, maybe? We were talking about Wendy Williams, the gossip chick. She had the gossip talk show and whatnot. And we were talking about how she's in full-blown dementia, right? That's what the story was. At least that's what we saw on the... F's in the chat for the good boy. Yeah, definitely. And we said that she's like in full-blown dementia, right? That was the article. Well, then today I'm looking at X, and this is one of the trending topics, Free Wendy. And we're like, wait, what? Free Wendy. So apparently she is in some kind of conservatorship with this woman. Wendy Williams is literally being held captive by Sabrina Morrissey. Now, I don't even know who Sabrina Morrissey is, but here's the change.org petition for Wendy Williams. Grant Wendy Williams freedom from conservatorship and contractual restrictions. The issue, Wendy Williams, a national icon, well, she's something. Anyway, has faced numerous challenges in recent years. Her situation is not just personal struggle, but also an issue that resonates with many who believe in the importance of personal freedom and family ties. Currently, she's under conservatorship and contractual restrictions that limit her access to her own finances and prevent her from freely seeing her loved ones. Conservatorships are designed to protect individuals who cannot care for themselves or manage their own finances. However, they can sometimes become tools of control rather than protection. In Wendy's case, it appears that the conservatorship is causing more harm than good by isolating her from those she holds dear. The impact of such restrictions on individuals' mental health cannot be overstated, according to the American Psychological. This is a petition, and so I'm not going to read the rest of it. But so apparently, Wendy Williams was a guest via telephone on The Breakfast Club. You know, with Charlamagne the God and those guys on whatever that station is in New York. And they were talking about Sean, Diddy, Puffy, whatever the hell, Combs. And now, the reason I'm kind of confounded by this is that when I read all the stuff about her being in full-blown dementia, but then she gets on the she gets on The Breakfast Club. Listen to this. This is Wendy Williams talking to the people at Breakfast Club. I think this is it.
Wendy, you got fired from Hot 97 years ago because of Diddy. All these years later to see where Diddy currently is. What do you feel about that situation?
Hey, it's really weird seeing me on TV when I'm caught in this position. You know what I'm saying? As far as Diddy will go to prison for life, people. You don't know things that I knew about Diddy back in the day, and you want to know what? It's about time, people. It is about time. Diddy done.
GD, Wendy Williams is a gossip. She had a gossip show on television. And she has been talking about Sean Diddy Combs' problems for years. She's been hinting at him, and she got fired from the radio station for even mentioning stuff because Sean Combs has a lot of power. But she apparently knows where the skeletons are buried. So now I'm going, wait a minute. Why was this woman? They're talking about her dementia and she's not functioning, whatever. Could she be having a moment of clarity? I don't know, but she knows shit. And so that's the only reason it's interesting. And the reason I'm talking about it is because it's trending. It's one of those topics that are trending. So it has nothing to do with politics. It has nothing to do with anything but whatever. Does that mean she went to his parties? I don't know. But I think other people have talked to her about them parties. And because she apparently, again, she's one of these people who have been talking about this shit for years. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But I just thought it was weird because just a few weeks ago, we were talking, there was a story about her being in like full-blown dementia, can't even, finish a sentence. And now she's on the radio talking about shit she knows about Sean Combs. So more to come on that, I guess. Very interesting. All right. Now, California, obviously trending. People still talking about the fires, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this today. The only thing I wanted to do was apparently Bill Burr's pissing off some people because Bill's kind of all of a sudden, I don't know. Bill Burr was upset with people who have been talking about this, and I kind of get it because he's in the thick of it and maybe not looking at the big picture, but here's Bill Burr talking about the fires with this idiot Jimmy Kimmel. Here we go.
Thank you. Very good to see you. I heard you had to evacuate your home.
Yes. Like most people, I had to. I got lucky, the winds moved, but, the fire was coming and all that stuff, so I feel lucky.
Are you guys back in?
And I think everybody did a great job.
Yeah.
Unlike the internet.
That's the line that everyone's talking about, but I understand his point as he continues, even though, because that's why I didn't talk a whole lot about the fires right off the bat.
Yeah, right. I know it's right.
Oh my God! All of these fire experts.
You're right. He shouldn't have got himself into that situation. Exactly, like that one big giant woman said.
Why didn't you just fly a helicopter into the ocean and then just, I don't know, because there was 100-knot winds? You want to do that? You want to do that at night?
I think he's been listening too much to...
This was definitely mismanaged.
I think he's been talking a little bit too much to Jimmy Kimmel, or listening to Jimmy Kimmel, and not to what people are actually saying. Yes, the entire situation is messed up. The fact that there was an empty reservoir that supplies that entire, the Pacific Palisades area that was empty probably didn't help during fire season, during Santa Ana wind season. The Santa Ana winds kind of blow into California pretty much the same time every year. So anyway.
That's a big word we're hearing now.
Mismanaged, like some idiot on the internet knows how to manage the worst fire in LA, sitting there in his underwear.
I mean, that's...
You know what? Looking at the footage on the internet, I have determined that this here was mismanaged.
So anyway, some people are not happy with him for that, and kind of, if he wants to find out what people are actually saying, he might want to do a little more searching. Let's just put it that way. Good morning, Geff. I always have a hard time saying Gefferolf. What's up? Good morning. All right, so that's why Bill Burr is trending. Enough about him. I got to get through this faster because I want to get to my topics that I want to talk about, which actually I think I'm there. Let's start with the Biden farewell. And I'm just watching people talk about it because I haven't watched the speech yet. But there are some highlights breaking in his farewell address. Joe Biden warns the nation about the danger of an ultra-wealthy oligarchy that must pay their fair share of taxes. However, just weeks ago, Biden just granted his son, Hunter, an unprecedented decade-long pardon, shielding him from tax fraud charges. 6 major banks, including J.P. Morgan, Chase, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo, filed over 170 suspicious activity reports with the Treasury Department alleging the Biden family involvement in money laundering, human trafficking, and tax fraud. Congressional investigations uncovered that foreign funds from Russia, China, and Ukraine were funneled through 20 Biden-linked shell companies before being distributed to 9 Biden family members, including a grandchild. None of the Bidens registered under the Foreign Agent Registration Act as required by law. In other words, the Biden family, who live by their own set of rules and avoid paying their fair share of taxes, are the very ultra-wealthy oligarchs President Biden warns us about. So here's Biden talking about the super wealthy oligarchy.
I want to warn the country of some things that give me great concern.
Really?
This is a dangerous concentration, and that's a dangerous concentration of power in the hands of a very few ultra-wealthy people. The dangerous consequence.
Oh, like George Soros, baby?
If their abuse of power is left unchecked. Today, an oligarchy is taking shape in America of extreme wealth, power, and influence.
Oh, for
that
fuck's sake.
That literally threatens our entire democracy.
As
our basic rights, freedoms, and a fair shot for everyone to get ahead. We see the consequences all across America. And we've seen it before. More than a century ago, the American people stood up to the robber barons back then and busted the trusts. They didn't punish the wealthy. Just made the wealthy play by the rules everybody else had to. Workers want rights to earn their fair share.
What is their fair share? What is the fair share of the ultra wealthy? Hello, Blue-Eyed Scream. I'm always confused by that. They need to pay their fair share when they pay a vast majority of the taxes. And not that I don't know. I don't know what that number is, the fair share number. I've always been curious about that.
You know, they were dealt into the deal, and it helped put us on a path to building the largest middle class, the most prosperous century any nation in the world has ever seen. And we've got to do that again. In the last 4 years, that is exactly what we've done.
Have you now? Whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Joe, haven't the oligarchs in the last 4 years almost doubled their net worths? Now, again, they didn't make any more money. They just doubled the net worth because of the actions of the way inflation works and everything. What have you done, Joe? What are you talking about? I don't
make as much as they can, but play by the same rules. Pay their fair share of taxes.
Again, what is their fair share? what is their fair share, Joe? I mean, if you say what that is, I want to hear what you think that is. Because you're not saying anything right now. So anyway, now I'm going to watch the speech later, but there's an interesting little thing here from PJ Media asking, is this proof that, because it's supposed to be a live farewell address, and I'm, Joe speaking live for any period of time. I mean, he fumbled some words there, so maybe he did. But someone says, is this proof that Biden's speech was pre-recorded? President Joe Biden delivered his farewell address to the nation Wednesday night. If you watched it, you know it was a painful and pathetic last-ditch effort to salvage his legacy and spin his presidency before he exits the White House. After 4 years marked by scandal, economic stagnation, international embarrassments, and domestic unrest, Biden seems intent on spinning his legacy into something remotely positive. His frantic attempts to frame his presidency as anything but a failure are as transparent as they are unconvincing. A final flailing effort before being put out to pasture. Now, the timing of the address is particularly striking, coming just hours after Biden attempted to claim credit for brokering an agreement between Israel and Hamas, a move transparently aimed at deflecting months of domestic criticism over his mishandling of the conflict. But, as with so many of Biden's broadcast addresses to the nation, we're left with the nagging question of whether this address was truly live or pre-recorded. Trump War Room account on X may have found the evidence that the address was pre-recorded. The account shared video from the official White House live stream that, according to the Trump campaign account, just accidentally caught his handlers queuing it up. Now, let's see if we can find this. Is this it right here? Is this right here? Here it is. So, oh no, it doesn't exist. Did they take it down? Maybe they figured out that they were wrong. It could be. They might have been wrong. In fairness, this appears to be a simple screen graphic, not a pre-recorded movie file, but the file name selected ends with the words slate, which is a broadcasting industry term for screen graphic. Does that mean the broadcast wasn't pre-recorded? No, but there are other reasons to believe it was live. For one thing, if you watched it, you probably noticed Biden stumbling regularly through the address. It's hard to believe that such a sloppy job would have been deemed acceptable by his handlers. We've called out Biden videos before being pre-recorded and heavily edited. For example, the 13-second video of Biden challenging Trump to debate had 5 jump cuts, a telltale sign that it required multiple takes to get 13 seconds of usable footage. So, and here's that example of that.
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. And since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal.
Yeah,
I'll even do it twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays.
Okay, so anyway, that's that. Similarly, after Joe Biden's disastrous debate performance at the end of June, the White House released what was a blatant campaign commercial, and it was bad.
Democracy is the essence of who we are. We're the most unique nation in the world in that we're not united based on race, ethnicity, geography. We're based on idea. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all women and men are created equal.
Hey, remember the line.
In our Declaration of Independence, in our Constitution, they're the 2 things that are the guardrails to make sure democracy is able to be sustained. It's all about being able to show up and vote, be able to have
8 jump cuts in a 38-second video.
Get an even chance.
Anyway, you get the idea. So, who knows if the speech was live? I don't really care. It just is what it is. But that's interesting. Also in PJ Media, this is another one. Trump may not be safe at his inauguration. This is in PJ Media. We're all, oops, there we go. We're all excited about Trump's incoming inauguration, but in light of recent attempts on his life, it's a fair question to ask if all the necessary safety precautions are being taken to ensure his safety. Former Secret Service agent Dan Bongino isn't sure. He said, I've been getting a ton of questions. Dan, how do you feel about this inauguration? You think it's going to be safe? The answer is complicated. That's not an easy yes or no question. In response to the recent Secret Service and FBI briefings, Bongino stated bluntly, the inauguration is probably not safe. Well, I don't want to hear that, Dan. Come on now. Good morning, Renee Miette and Select Boy, by the way. Yeah, boy. He went on to explain that while he was speculating, his fear was rooted in the incompetence of those at the top of key agencies like the Secret Service and the FBI. Bongino's experience gives him okay, wait. I'd be worried about some people in the FBI if you ask me. Anyway, he said his experience gives him a unique perspective on security protocols, but even with that, he's not confident in what's being planned for the inauguration. So, and then it goes on to, in detail what he was talking about, but that's an interesting take. Also trending oligarchy because of what Joe Biden said. We'll skip that. And then Pam Bondi. Let's get into the Pam Bondi confirmation hearings. I was just letting you use your imagination, AD. Anyway, by the way, this is what's wild is this woman is 59 years old. This woman is only like a year younger than me, or a year and a half younger than me. I'm like, what? She looks like she's in her 30s. I'm surprised no one asked her for some skincare regimen or some shit. But anyway, her confirmation hearings went about as expected. And I want to spend time on one particular questioner today, and that would be Adam Schiff. And then if we have time, we'll get to some of the other articles, but I don't know if we will because I may not get through this very quickly. Let's watch, and this is there were 2 rounds of questions, and this is from Adam Schiff and the first round of questioning. And it's about as special as you'd expect, but Pam Bondi was certainly no pushover, no one to be messed with. She was very competent in handling this dumbass. So, without further ado, let's watch Adam Schiff's first round of questioning of Pam Bondi.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Bondi, as you know, the Supreme Court in Trump versus United States held the president has absolute immunity to commit crimes in certain core areas of the president's responsibility.
Let's just stop right there. That's not what they said. That's not what they said. That is not what they said. That hey, immunity to commit crimes. Yeah, that certain presidential actions in the course of the presidency would be not. I suppose immunity. There's 3 levels of immunity, and it certainly didn't say just any crime, just to commit crimes. Just commit crimes. Adam Schiff says. He's so full of shit.
One of those core areas is the Justice Department. So in a breathtakingly dangerous and irresponsible decision, Justice Roberts and the majority held the president could commit crimes using the Department of Justice and be immune from prosecution.
No, they didn't. Now, he's going by the minority opinion that from Sotomayor, I believe. I think he even mentions it here. Where their question was, well, he can't be. They made it sound like he was immune from any kind of crime. Yeah, no, that's not it. It's amazing.
Justice Sotomayor correctly said this new immunity lies about like a loaded weapon.
No, it does not. So
the fear and the concern we have
is that you might be prosecuted, Adam. You might be prosecuted. By the way, they also I saw a report recently that apparently Adam Schiff had been corresponding with Jeffrey Epstein via email. A whole bunch of emails they found, like 138 emails between him and Jeffrey Epstein. I'm just curious. When's that Epstein list come out? Because Pam Bondi has said that there's no reason why the people on those Epstein files should be kept secret. There's really no legal reason to do that. And so that might be making him nervous. But anyway.
Is that the incoming president will use that loaded weapon, that immunity to commit crimes through the Department of Justice. And for that reason, It is all
commit crimes through the Department of Justice. Well, I'm curious, what does that mean? That doesn't even mean.
More important that we have an attorney general who has the independence, the strength, the intestinal fortitude to say no to the president when it is necessary. So my first set of questions has to do whether you have the independence.
He wanted to say the balls.
To say no when you must say no. And you can say this is hypothetical, but it is not hypothetical.
Sure it is.
So let me start with one very specific non-hypothetical. The president has said Jack Smith should go to jail. Will you investigate Jack Smith?
Senator, I haven't seen the file. I haven't seen the investigation. I haven't looked at anything. It would be irresponsible of me to make a commitment regarding anything without, you're a long practicing attorney, without looking at a file.
So you would need a
Period.
factual predicate to open an investigation of Jack Smith, is that right?
Not a summary by you sitting here. Yes, sir.
I like that answer. I don't need a summary by you to determine whether or not I'm going to investigate something. So, interesting.
And not a summary by the president either, right?
Absolutely.
So a summary by the president or his desire to investigate Jack Smith would not be enough for you to open an investigation of Jack Smith. Is that right?
I will look at the facts and evidence in any case. And sitting here today,
Senator,
72% of Americans
I only have
have
7
lost
minutes.
faith in the Department of Justice.
Sitting here today, are you aware of any factual predicate to investigate Jack Smith?
She's not the fucking attorney general yet, Adam. No one's brought her any files to the Justice Department. Why would she have anything about it? She's not the Attorney General of the United States of America yet. So how would she have anything brought to her yet? Do you have any factual, reasons to investigate him? What?
Sitting here today, yes or no?
Senator, I will look at the facts and the circumstances.
You can't answer that question.
Brought to me.
You're not a part of the department yet. There's no worry about divulging.
So why would she have anything yet? What would have been brought to her if she's not part of the department yet? That's an illogical question.
I'm sitting here as a nominee.
Law enforcement sensitive information. So just tell us, are you aware? Just tell us, are you aware of a factual predicate to investigate Jack Smith? Yes or no?
Senator, what I'm hearing on the news is
Are you aware of a?
Do I know if he committed a crime? I have not.
You seem reluctant to answer.
I've not looked at it.
Let me ask you a different, simple question. The president also wants to jail Liz Cheney. Sitting here today, are you aware of any factual basis to investigate Liz Cheney?
Wait. I don't think anyone was supposed to get excited about that. But anyway, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do that. That was funny to me, but
He's sitting here today. Are you aware of any factual basis to investigate Liz Cheney? Yes or no?
Senator, that's a hypothetical, and I'm not going to answer that question.
No, it's not hypothetical. I'm asking you, sitting here today, whether you are aware of a factual predicate to investigate Liz Cheney.
Senator, no one has asked me to investigate Liz Cheney. That is a hypothetical.
The president has called for it publicly. You are aware of that, aren't you?
No one has asked me to investigate.
But the president has
We're also worried about Liz Cheney,
the
Senator.
president has.
Oh, Johnny's going overboard, isn't he?
Ms. Bondi, please answer my questions.
California right now
you are
is
aware,
through the roof.
Ms. Bondi,
your robberies are 87% higher than the national average.
My question is this.
That's what I want to be focused on, Senator.
Do you have the power to say no to the president?
General.
And what you're suggesting today by your non-answer is you.
You know what's wild about this too? So, the Justice Department is part of the executive branch. And so while she needs to be able to always look at the facts of everything, it's not like the Justice Department is a completely separate part of the executive branch. I mean, look, if you think about Attorney General, they usually are pretty much in line with what the president that they're serving, as far as policy and goals. And so I'm assuming that Pam Bondi is in line with Trump's goals. And she has to do it properly, obviously. But this line of questioning is like, well, are you going to be against the president? That's what they want him to be. They want the attorney general to go against the president. And that's it's just weird to me. Would they have asked Bobby Kennedy to go against his brother? Did they ever ask Eric Holder to go after Barack Obama or defy Barack Obama? I bet they didn't. It's just a weird line of questioning.
You don't have.
In fact, it's happening with all the nominees. They all of their questioning, like Pete Hegseth again. Will you defy Donald Trump? That's all they want to hear. They want that soundbite of yes. And so this game is kind of weird. Hello, Puffer P Smiles. Hi there. Anyway, so
independence to say no to the president. So let me ask you a different question. It also requires you, if you're going to be a good attorney general, to be able to tell hard truths to the president.
Oh, so here we go. This is a common question during these hearings for the Democrats too. Listen.
Can you tell hard truths to the president? So let me start with an easy truth that you could speak to the president. Can you tell him that Donald Trump lost the 2020 election? Can you say that? Do you have the independence to say that?
Why does she need to say that?
The stature, the intestinal fortitude to say, Donald Trump, you lost the 2020 election. Can you tell us that here today?
Senator, what I can tell you is I will never play politics. You're trying to engage me in a gotcha. I won't do it. I won't play politics with any ongoing investigation.
So let me ask you another.
Like you did leaking your colleague Devin Nunes's memo.
Oh, snap! She brought it up. She went there. Because Schiff has his own little problems. He has problems.
Can't answer the question. Let me ask you a different, what should be a simple truth, not a hard one. Was there massive fraud affecting the result of the 2020 election, yes or no?
How would she know?
Senator, I'm glad you asked that question, if you'll let me answer what I saw in Pennsylvania.
No, I asked a simple question.
Again, you want a question, you're going to ask, how would anyone know the answer to that? And the only thing she can tell you is what she's seen. And she was involved in the cases in Pennsylvania where they changed laws illegally, and they had the governor changed laws while the only the legislatures can change election law when the governor did during COVID.
About massive fraud.
I can only tell you what I saw in Pennsylvania.
I know you want to answer a different question, but my question is,
because he doesn't want to hear that. They asked the question, but he didn't want to hear her answer. And he makes a huge mistake here in a second.
Whether there was massive fraud affecting the results of the 2020 election, yes or no? Was there or was there not?
I can tell you what I saw when I went as an advocate to the campaign.
That's not my question. So you can't answer that question. You can't speak that even easy truth to us, let alone to the president.
How is it? It's an easy truth to you, but might not be true because you can't know. There's no way for you to know. Not a single case got adjudicated. They threw cases out before they ever adjudicated.
A different question. It will also be important that you give good advice to the president. Are you prepared to advise the president not to pardon people who beat police officers?
Senator, as I said, the pardons are at the direction of the president. Already. We will look and we will advise. I will look at every case on a case. Let me finish. On a case-by-case basis.
Okay, good.
And I abhor violence to police officers.
Follow up with that. So will it be your advice to the president, Mr. President? I know you said you want to issue hundreds of pardons on day one. Will it be your advice to the president? No, Mr. President, I need to go over them on a case-by-case.
The balls of any Democrat talking about pardons after the round of pardons that Joe Biden did, and every president does. She can advise all she wants, but the president still has the power of the pardon is solely with the president. He doesn't have to ask for anyone's advice if he doesn't want to, but certainly they can make recommendations. Or certainly they can look at files. They can certainly look at the cases by case basis. Did that happen with Joe Biden? I don't know. They had some weird pardons, man. I'm just saying.
Basis, do not issue blanket pardons. Will that be your advice to the president?
Senator, I have not looked at any of those files. If confirmed, I will look at the files
And
for
will
the
you be able to
pardons, as well
will
as
you
the
be able to
ongoing
review
investigation.
hundreds of cases on day one?
I will look at every file I am
Of course
asked
you
to
won't.
look
So
at.
will you advise the
Hey,
president?
can I
will
answer
you-
the question?
Well, my question
I
is-
would have plenty of staff. You said, of course you want.
You'll be able to review.
Of course you won't. that didn't sit right. What do you mean, of course you won't? She didn't say that. She said she would look at every single file and do it on advise on a case-by-case basis. That's exactly what she said. But of course you won't. What do you mean, of course you won't? Get the fuck out of here.
Listen, I'm not going to mislead this body nor you.
All right, let me ask another question. You don't want to answer that. Let me ask
You were
another question.
censured by
It will
Congress,
also-
Senator, for
it will
comments just
also-
like this.
It will also be important for you to be able to preserve the records, the evidence
Now,
of the department. Are you ready to commit that none of the evidence in the January 6th investigation will be destroyed under your watch?
The fucking nerve of this motherfucker to talk about preserving records regarding January 6th when the January 6th committee destroyed records of the interviews. They destroyed records, all kinds of records. And he has the balls to ask about destroying records? You gotta be kidding me. Unbelievable.
Senator, I will follow the law. I will consult
Which
with
is what the January 6th committee did not do.
ethical officials in the
Do you
department.
see any ethical basis to destroy evidence in the January?
He's not. Why are you worried about her destroying evidence in the January 6th case? Why is he pushing it? I think this is so he could get sound bites out in California and wherever his constituencies are. Most of these hearings are so that the senators can get a sound bite, right? But this might be the most gaslighting sound bite. I mean, he's like trying to make the people think that there's a worry of the Trump Justice Department destroying records about January 6th when the January 6th committee themselves destroyed records. Are you kidding me? With the fucking
6th investigation? Then why can't you answer the question? Why can't you say, I commit to this committee, we will never destroy the evidence in the January 6th investigation? Why can't you give this committee and the American people that assurance?
Are you frightened because evidence was destroyed against President Trump that was false? Is that why you're frightened now? I can't believe this is even...
Why do you have difficulty answering that question?
I can't believe
Why do you
you're
have
asking such a
difficulty?
question.
Why do you have difficulty promising to preserve evidence at the Department of Justice? Why is that a difficult question?
I will follow the law.
It shouldn't be a difficult question.
You should. It's a question you have
Thank you,
no
Mr. Chairman.
business asking. God damn! I went full melon in there. Axing. Anyway, so there you go. There's Adam, the watermelon head, pencil neck motherfucker, asking questions to Pam Bondi, which he should be embarrassed about. Now, there are several articles here. This is her question with Adam Schiff, which we just watched. She also had some interesting questions from perhaps the dumbest senator, Mazie Hirono. Because Mazie Hirono started out with her usual stupid question. And let's see if I have that handy. Let's see. So one of these clips. Mazie Hirono. Anyway, Mazie Hirono started her questionings with, have you ever been accused of sexual assault, or have you ever sexually assaulted anybody? And that's because she started doing that since the Kavanaugh hearings, where she would ask, now she asks every nominee, male and female, if they've ever been accused of sexual assault. She's annoying as hell. And unfortunately, since I don't have a ton of time here. Oh, by the way, there is some video from the hearing that you haven't seen yet. regarding Adam Schiff, and I'll show you this little clip because somebody said this is some leaked video from the Senate confirmation hearing of Pam Bondi. Here's something. What's going on here? Oh, looks like is that the watermelon head pencil necked one? Fall asleep? He's asleep.
It is an existential threat, Senator, and also I have not seen it yet, but
he's
from what
sleeping.
I've heard about
What's going on? He's not reading. He's asleep. Come on, Adam Schiff. You got to pay attention. He's just taking a nap before he tries to get as many gotchas as he can in.
There's the sleeper cell.
Calling him a sleeper cell. That's funny as hell. Anyway. Let's see. I have a time for more. Let me just do a couple more here. Someone asked the question, how is Pam Bondi older than Kirsten Gillibrand? I gotta say, she looks, she doesn't look that old. She's 59 years old. Unbelievable. There, Pam Bondi. Let's see. That's, a lot of people ripping for the Adam Schiff stuff, and most people talking about that. Where the hell is the one with Mazie Hirono? Here it is. Here it is. Mazie Hirono's.
You met with me.
Mazie. This is Pam Bondi ripping Mazie Hirono to shreds. Actually, here's a short exchange between her and Mazie Hirono.
Senator Hirono, I wish you had met with me. Had you met with me, we could have discussed many things and gotten to know.
I am listening to you now. Could you respond to the question?
Yeah, you were the only one who refused to meet with me, Senator. But what we would have discussed is that it is the job of the Attorney General to
I'm very happy to listen to your responses under
Senator Hirono.
Well, no, you cut her off every time she talked. That was the one thing that Mazie Hirono said. Here's one. This is with the other California senator. Let me find him real quick. Now, there are concerns with Pam Bondi because she did support some red flag laws and certain gun control laws that may not sit as well with most conservatives, but I'm not too worried about it. Here it is. This is another senator from California.
Your job will be, I'm speaking, your job will be
this dude was lecturing her, and she wasn't having it.
Protect voters and election workers, not to undermine and dox them. Now, I know that earlier you agreed that Joe Biden is in fact president, but many of the president-elect's inner circle continue to spread the big lie about the 2020 election. Then we'll move on to a different topic.
Senator, you were speaking. May I speak? You cut me off when I was speaking. When I ask you the next question,
you can speak, and I hope you answer, Ms. Bondi.
Well, I'd like to answer the previous one, Senator.
When we met yesterday,
you pointed your finger at me and said you were speaking.
You did not seem to be familiar
let me answer my question. I'm not
going
to be bullied by you,
Senator Padilla. The 14th Amendment of the United States of America, which was deeply disappointing.
I guess you didn't want to hear my answer about Pennsylvania.
After I gave an opportunity to
None of them wanted to hear her answer about Pennsylvania because they know she was on the ground in Pennsylvania, know that she has the things that she learned while she was in Pennsylvania just studying the election in Pennsylvania. And the laws they changed that, in theory, should have never been changed. The governor made changes to the law. There was a lot of problems with the election in Pennsylvania in 2020. And she was going to tell them, and they didn't want to hear it.
Overnight. So can you tell me in this committee what the citizenship clause of the 14th Amendment says?
And then, this is a good answer, too.
Senator, I'm here to answer your questions. I'm not here to do your homework and study for you. If I am confirmed as Attorney General...
You're the one asking for a confirmation vote,
you cut me off. Can I please finish?
What does the 14th Amendment say?
Senator, the 14th Amendment, we all know, addresses birthright citizenship. I've been a state prosecutor. I've been a state AG. I look forward to, even given your remarks today, working with you and the people of California if I am confirmed as the 87th Attorney General of the United States of America. I didn't take your homework assignment. I'm sorry. I was preparing for today.
So anyway, because when they met, he's wanted to make sure she learned something about the 14th Amendment, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, let's just go through a couple of headlines and get out of here. So this one, there's an article in here, Pam Bondi, Trump picks for Attorney General, goes toe-to-toe with Adam Schiff, reminds him he was once censured by Congress. We just watched that. Daily Caller on this. Mazie Hirono asked Bondi if she ever made unwanted sexual advances on someone. Here's that clip.
I may leave the meeting to open the Senate, so whoever's on our side is acting chairman during that period of time. Senator Hirono.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You know what? Okay, just let me note on something too. Why is it that Chuck Grassley, who's been in the United States Senate since he was, since the turn of the century, since the turn of the last century, still doesn't know how to pronounce Mazie Hirono's name, which is funny, and I'm sure it's because he's racist. At least that would be the proper answer from most people who think that way.
As part of my responsibility to ensure the fitness of all nominees, I ask the following 2 initial questions.
This is insane.
First, since you became a legal adult, have you ever made unwanted requests for sexual favors or committed any verbal or physical harassment or assault of a sexual nature?
I think she should have answered, "Are you hitting on me?" That would have been the best answer. Are you hitting on me?
No, Senator.
Have you ever faced discipline or entered into a settlement relating to this kind of conduct?
No, Senator.
No, but I know a bunch of the United States Senate has. That would have been that answer too. Oh, Darren Root, I just saw you here. You've been here a while, haven't you? So anyway, Mazie Hirono, she's brilliant. And also that we talked about her, that was Alex Padilla. That's the other California senator that she said she would not be bullied by. I'm here to answer your questions. I'm not here to do your homework and study for you. Like he's supposed to pass her. He's supposed to pass his exam. She's supposed to pass his exam. And then this article from National Post: Adam Schiff abuses critical confirmation time to lobby for his friend Liz Cheney, and not for ordinary Americans. Yeah, he spent all his time worried about what Trump would do to them and not what the Attorney General's office would do for America. So it's very interesting. And then the New York Post editorial, we'll finish with this, even though I have other articles in the links today. Democrats grandstand through Trump nominee hearings because cheap shot politics is all they got. Oh, spot on. The first round of confirmation hearings for Trump cabinet appointees shows that Democrats aren't interested in governing, only grandstanding. Look at the circus of defense nominee Pete Hegseth's Tuesday hearing. Hawaii Senator Mazie Hirono, a lefty stalwart, debuted an utterly bizarre line about Hegseth greenlighting military invasions of Greenland or takeovers of the Panama Canal. She also asked if Hegseth would follow a hypothetical order from Trump to shoot protesters. Virginia's Tim Kaine sternly wagged his finger at Hegseth over allegations of bad behavior towards women. Pretty rich coming from a man who went puppy-eyed gaga in public for Bill Clinton. Elizabeth Warren, who lied about having Native American heritage to prosper in academia, went after Hegseth for his honesty. Pathetic, zero substance, 100% partisan theater. And that same cheap circus Barker mentality was on display during the Judiciary Committee hearings for Attorney General designate Pam Bondi. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse opened by asking if Bondi had an enemies list and demanding to know under what circumstances you will prosecute journalists. What? Why? Dumb question. Connecticut Richard Blumenthal, stolen valor, fake Vietnam veteran, also asked Bondi if Bondi could say no to the president when he asked you to do something unethical or illegal. Gee, I'm not sure. She's only been an attorney general in Florida for 18 years, or 8 years, 10 years, I don't know. Corrupt Russiagate liar California Senator Adam Schiff followed this absurd line of questioning even deeper down the rabbit hole, with Bondi landing body blows in response. Notably, as Schiff kept talking over her, answering her own questions, she finally erupted. "You were censured by Congress, Senator, for comments just like this, and they're so reckless." A dig centering on his repeated public claims about Trump's ties to Russia, and that turned out false. Bondi will be tasked with running and restoring an agency hollowed out and politicized by utterly supine Attorney General Merrick Garland, who did have an enemies list. It included concerned public school parents and religious Catholics, and clearly never told his boss no. Schiff and Company's casting of Bondi as a female Nixon is an attempt to pump some vitality into the flagging fortunes of their just womp-womped party. Like Hirono and Kane, they're trying to generate sound bites to boost their fundraising. 2026 is barreling towards us already, don't forget. These senior elected officials are no different, in other words, from historic adult babies who invaded Energy Secretary-designate Chris Wright's hearing Wednesday to blubber and wave signs about how evil fossil fuels are. Maybe the sweaty-browed huffing and puffing still plays with rubes who seal clap for Rachel Maddow and Stephen Colbert, but the 2024 election results suggest it won't move anyone else. Sad. The National Dem leadership is as out of touch with political reality as its members are loud, narcissistic, and null on policy. And on that note, I'm going to drop some links in the chat like I always do from everything we did today and more because I didn't get to very far. But that's how it goes on this show. It's typical. There's always more. Anyway, so I hope you all have a lovely day. Let me do this and share the page. Oops, wait, share the page. There we go. So here are today's links. And I hope you all have a lovely day. Come on back for Free For All Friday. We have our normal Friday Q&A. Thanks to everyone who joined us in the chat and retweeted the show. And I appreciate you, Avocados Diablo, for being the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. That's it. I got to go. Thanks. My name is P-Dog Knight. And I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. P-Dog Knight, and thanks for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.